Okay, hi, it's 4:22 on the East Coast here on Monday. Try to get this video in that reviews week 3, introduces week 4. Um, I'm a little late with it again. I apologize for that. But I am mind-boggled sort of how quickly this course moves, being only in 7 weeks. And to think that we're only 2 days away from the midpoint of the course is pretty amazing to me. It does move fast, doesn't it? So week 3, we basically talked about the resource portfolio. These are the means that an organization has with which to create public value. And we had the little pencil diagram on, oh come on, I missed it. Where is it? Sorry here. It's at the beginning of 4. It's 4:1. Diagram 4:1. 3. There we go. Sorry. Right there. And then further discussion of those resources later in the chapter, and a listing here of the resource portfolio on this page, and then back to here on the next page. Okay. What I thought was sort of interesting there was that in our discussion of which resources are the most important, only one of you mentioned the fiscal assets, and it is the and while that's contained in the table 4:1, it's really not alluded to here in the headings under the figure 4:1. Just an observation. And so we then talked further about, particularly in chapter 5 of the book, right, how those resources are used in programs, and particularly program strategies. And we talked about the different ways that nonprofit organizations, through their programming, can create public value. And we talked about public service, social methods, political preservation, and creative. And we talked about the importance then of knowing who the beneficiaries are of each type of program strategy, and that's important because it's typically the beneficiary ultimately who is your source of resources. And so sometimes it's unclear in pursuing each of these strategies who the beneficiary actually is. Um, and but you have to clearly know who your beneficiary is so you can market, frankly, that public value to them, so that they will hopefully come through with the resources. So it's really important then to get this notion down that your programmatic strategies, yes, have to produce public benefit, public value. It has to maximize your mission, but somehow it has to also then be related back to your resource domain and how it is that you drive money into your organization, right? Because if you don't have financial assets and an ongoing stream of revenue into your organization, you're not going to be able to endure, because without any money, you can't operate. Or, as I sometimes say, no money, no mission. Okay? And so now as we move forward from week 3 and kind of thinking pretty much internal to the organization still, we talk about the task environment. This is first introduced in chapter 3, right? With this diagram, right? Remember this diagram on page 67, right? And there's a further discussion of it in chapter 3. But in chapter 6, Professor Brown really goes into some depth about factors involved in the task environment, and he looks at it through some different analytical screens again, or analytical tools. And so as I review the material this week, I'm trying to make conscious crosswalks between that task environment that he discussed in week 3 and the task environment and strategies that he's talking about in week 6, and see how they cross with one another. We then go on in chapter 7 and talk about the corporate strategies. And this is right, the biggest umbrella under which all of the strategic thinking is happening, because it's at the corporate level that we really sort of lay out what's the biggest conceptual um, goals that we're trying to accomplish as a nonprofit. What is our mission, and generally how are we going to try to maximize it? And certainly the board comes into play there, because legally they are the ultimate authority in nonprofits, so there's a little discussion about that, and then obviously discussions about other stakeholders and other details there in that chapter. Um, Okay, so in a sense, we're working from the inside out of the organization, right? We're looking at resources. We're then seeing how they combine into programs. We're then thinking about how those programs relate with the task environment. And then we're also thinking about how all of that fits underneath the umbrella of the corporate strategy. All right, so maybe a helpful way to kind of think about how we're quickly zooming through the material in the course. Okay, let's see. It is Monday. It's maybe I didn't say it's late. It's 4:20 here on the East Coast, and I know I have not graded discussion forum 3 nor your papers from week 3. In the next day or so, I'll definitely get to those. Okay. Otherwise, do give a call if you ever have a question. 413-237-7475. I've talked with one or two of you. Would welcome a call from anybody else as well. Okay. All right. Thanks. See you online.